Hi, good day everyone. I am the MC today and my name is Nazrul. We are here to discuss about the pros and cons of Internet of Things in today's world. So firstly, let us welcome our guest today. We have the Sales Director, Ms. Eding, Director of Supply Chain and Contract Management, Ms. Jaan, Marketing Manager, Ms. Fahira, Environmental Engineer, Mr. Faiz, and Military Officer, Mr. Aiman. As an introduction, the Internet of Things, or we can call it as IoT, is a network of interconnected computing devices, mechanical and digital machinery, items, animals, and people with unique identifiers, which is UID, and the ability to transfer the data without requiring human-to-human or human-to-computer interaction. An IoT ecosystem is made up of web-enabled systems such as CPU, sensors, and communication hardware. By connecting to an IoT gateway or other edge device, IoT devices can share sensor data that is either routed to the cloud for analysis or examined locally. Nowadays, IoT much more help us to make our life easier. Maybe our beautiful Miss Leading can tell us the benefit of IoT in communication?
Hello, Nazru and everyone. Thank you for inviting me for today. And my name is Lady, and I'm a sales director in a company. Then, from my opinion, I think that the Internet of Things is definitely help us in communication. Internet of Things help us to communicate with another through email. Email is a kind of electronic mail that able to message between each other, such as business, contact, friend, or family by using computer or other electronic devices. It's very effectively compared to write on a letter and post to the recipient or receiver. This is because the receiver can receive the message that you sent within a second instead of a few weeks, like post a letter from one place to another place. Uh, yeah. Then because of the Internet of Things, the social media is also created for nowadays. And email is commonly used in working purpose for nowadays, like sending invoice or sending purchase order or document that related with their work. Yeah.
Wow, that sounds great. Can I have some examples?
Sure, Nazir. Thank you for asking this question. Example for social media is like Facebook, Instagram, Line, WhatsApp, WeChat, and so on. As we know, social media is very famous and we daily use to communicate with each other in nowadays. And social media is a very good software that bring a very good function for us, which is video call. Video call is a face-to-face call by using internet connection or Wi-Fi, and it make us can interact with each other at any time and anywhere. And the person that you talk with is like stand right in front of you. Besides, it still can foster the relationship with our parents, friends, or partner, even we are far apart with them. Yeah.
I'm agreed with Miss Eding's point, which is the IoT can help us in our communication. If IoT doesn't exist, maybe we will face difficulty to communicate with others. In addition, IoT also can help us guarding or protect our privacy. So now, let's hear Miss Jaan's opinion regarding this matter.
A very good morning to everyone. I suppose that's true. And I must say that Internet of Things really brings us a lot of benefits nowadays. Everyday social relations have already been strongly impacted by technology and Internet of Things. For example, It may not to be too unusual nowadays if we see a family or a group of people who are out for a meal paying more attention to the electronic device rather than to anyone else at the table. Therefore, Internet of Things appear in our daily life very frequently because technology brings a lot of advancements in people's life. Based on my experience, the point that I need to say out is that Internet of Things can protect our data security as well. People nowadays will save all information online by uploading the documents to the Google Drive or iCloud so that the info can save the drive forever. As when compared to the past, people wrote on a paper as a record and put it in a folder. This had increased the cost and waste of the material, for instance, the ink and the paper. This means that technology nowadays will make our life easier as it can help us to save our money and time.
Does the scope of your work really needs the data security?
Yes, definitely. As I work as the Director of Supply Chains and Contract Management, the scope of my work, which includes review, manage and approve the contract, and sometimes I will have the responsibility to create some contracts based on the supply chains of my project. Hence, I will need to have several drafts of soft copies for some particular contracts to prevent any loss. Hence, Internet of Things plays an important role that I can upload the documents to the system of my company at any time. As a result, the contract will save inside the system forever. And furthermore, don't have the worries that the content of my agreement and contracts will be exposed to anyone that is not involved because the system will be protected by a strong ID and password. We can monitor and control the access policies of the documents when using all these Internet of Things. So we can see that Internet of Things really help us in our jobs and also our daily life.
Thank you, Ms. Jaen, for your opinion. I can't imagine if we don't have this kind of IoT. Besides that, IoT also can help us to start a business to gain a side income since the pandemic hit us really hard. So I think that Ms. Faira can explain us further.
Thank you to the Mr. Moderator. Okay, in this 21st century era, a lot of smart devices like Internet of Things are created. And of course, the purpose is to help humans, to make everything easier in their life. So one of the advantages in IoT is to give better business opportunities to them. The access of online shopping platform, for instance, like Shopee, Alibaba, Amazon or Lazada, are really helpful for small businessmen to survive in their life and for a company to maintain or increase their profits, especially during this pandemic, where people, as we know, people lost their job, lost their financial source, while company, they cannot operate as usual for contemporary because of the MCO. Nevertheless, as online shopping platform operates for 24 hours per week, it gives chance for businessmen to market their product for free or low budget anytime without time constraints. Like before this, marketing might need to do physically, which is more challenging, where they need to going out from office and find people to promote their products under the exposure of science. So it is so tiring and hard to make it wider and be well known. However, nowadays, using an IoT solution, it becomes more effective to market the products, not just in the country, but also around the globe. Besides that, they also can get opportunity to compete with another international competitor using the same price and same platform. Okay, according to the Global Data's e-commerce analytics, Malaysia's e-commerce market is increased from 24.7% in 2020 because of the pandemic. And I believe and I agree with this statistic because in this pandemic or this virus COVID-19 is really easy to spread by only droplets So people are not allowed to going out from home. So when they want to shopping, it just allowed for them or encourage for them to shopping via online. So it's clearly that IoT or Internet of Things really helpful to improve a businessman profits by using smartphone, laptops, and internet. And by using these three devices, they can improve their profits and they can run their business smoothly without any boundaries. So that's it from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Fahira, for your great explanation. So after we heard the Miss Eding's, Miss Fahira's, and Miss Jaan's statements, we know that IoT really gives us many benefits to our future. But there's no rose without a thorns. Surely this thing will bring along bad impacts to us. So maybe Mr. Faiz can elaborate further?
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's a great pleasure to introduce myself as a professor. I'm a PhD holder where I obtained my PhD in environmental science. First of all, I would like to thank all of the audience in front of me for attending the program. When I first sat in this chair, I was breathless with excitement. I'm sorry, I was distracted. Moving on to the topic, where the Internet of Things is frequently linked with the areas where people interact on daily basis, such as their house or car. It has also had a beneficial and negative impact on the environment. So now I will explain about the bad impact. As we know that Internet of Things IoT can cause bad impact, whereby causing pollution when dangerous or excessive amount of gas such as carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, sulfur dioxide, and others are injected in Earth's atmosphere. It is known as air pollution. On the other hand, global warming is one of the well-known environmental concerns, partly due to excessive carbon dioxide emissions. There's a dark side. Let me explain clearly. IoT devices will generate and transmit a large volume of data. As the data travels to the network, it will consume a lot of energy. Furthermore, many of the devices are powered by batteries. Battery is not rechargeable, so we need to replace more batteries when the devices require more energy. So the used battery will be ended up in landfills. Batteries come in a range of shapes and sizes. They are constructed from a variety of materials. The chemicals that need to create batteries are what make them dangerous to the environment, such as lead, sulfuric acid, and cadmium. These chemicals are extremely dangerous for us and the environment, where they can lead to air pollution, water pollution, and soil pollution. The batteries can damage the soil and the environment if they ended up in landfills. Let me tell you something. All organisms rely on the environment for the energy and the materials needed to sustain life. If the environment is polluted, then it will cause a bad impact on living organism. So example like eating crops that were grown from chemicals that contaminate soil can damage or destroy the kidneys. Besides, lead has a harmful impact on the human as well. The exposure can lead to memory loss and the decreased concentration, as well as harming the reproductive system. So I would like to conclude this speech in one sentence. From here we can see that once the chemicals leak into the environment, that's where the war starts, by releasing the negative consequences as the troops. So public need to stand up and take wise decision. That's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Faiz, for your insightful information. So now let's hear Mr. Aiman's opinion.
Thank you to Mr. Nazrul for giving me this opportunity to give my opinion about this topic. Before proceed, let me introduce myself. My name is Muhammad Aiman Hakim bin Hamid, as a military officer. So let's proceed with my point. Furthermore, based on my opinion, they also have a bad impact of IoT, such as the system will be had sometime. It's because maintaining the data remains interpreted through IoT device is difficult, as it involves an expanding use, although cybersecurity is an excessive precedent. IoT gadgets are not constantly included inside the network. Gadget has to be protected from physical tampering, net-based software assault, network-based totally attack, and hardware primarily based assault. When something is put on the net, it's gone. always be there. Of course, there are security features which can be taken to defend record. However, there are constantly the opportunity of hackers breaking into the system and stealing the record. For instance, Anonymous is a group of individuals that hack into federal websites and release confidential statistics to the public.
Yes, sometimes IoT might be unsafe for us.
Meanwhile, the government is meant to have the highest degree of safety, but their gadget change into without difficulty breach. Consequently, if all of our facts are safe as the land, human beings could be hacked into it, locating out the world about individual life. Google was recently discovered to have information that is considered confidential. Information such as the data collected and stored by IoT can be immensely beneficial to companies.
Thank you, Mr. Aiman, for your opinion. I would like to add a word or two regarding this matter. When it comes to an IoT device, one of the most overlooked risks is the likelihood of personal data leaking as well as device tracking. Consider how much data an IoT gadgets can gather. For example, the webcams can view whatever they are pointed at. Smart TVs and personal assistants can detect sound. And smart cars can provide signal as to whether or not someone is at home. The quantity of data collected by an IoT device varies by device. The current tendency is for everything to be stored in cloud, and IoT devices are following suit. In essence, transmitting commands to an IoT device via a mobile phone can go halfway around the world and pass through many servers before performing an action. If not properly protected, this information could be intercepted or diverted to a malicious server where it could be abused. They might follow every step, listen on private chats, and then launch a targeted attack against them. Or they can sell the information they gather on the darknet for others to exploit. So I think that is all from me. Thank you for our guests for willing to spend their times together. I wish all of you have a good day. Bye.